Every Kalenjin man has to go through a rite of passage. So this program, this Tumdo, has been there for a long time.
Most of us whose children have grown up in the city our children have no connection to their roots, particularly their clans, their family.
When Christianity came in, our culture was kind of under attack because the initial teachings of Christianity was that our culture is not good. So we need to adopt the Jewish, okay, they are calling it Christian culture, but Christian culture is based on the Bible, and the Bible is based on the Jewish culture.
Our Kalenjin men, those of those days, were strong men. They were people that had character, integrity. And when we try to compare what is happening with the boy child of today and what used to happen with men of those days, we realize that there is a gap. And we wanted to address this gap.
The beauty about the Kalenjin people is that they usually embrace Tumdo so much. Every time they hear that there is Tumdo, they usually come up from very senior people, very senior people in the government. They come to motivate, to encourage the young men. That is one beauty about the Kalenjin. They will always come all the way from Pokot, the professors from Pokot, the governors, even the great man in the nation. They will always come to motivate, to encourage the young men because they want to mentor.
So by going through this process, we are reconnecting them to their ancestors, their grandparents, their family, their clans.
The role of women in this process was now the initial part, which is the Cheptilet. And then within the seclusion, their role was actually kind of food preparation, which they do even today. And then finally during graduation. What I can say is that during Cheptilet, women are given more opportunity to speak to the young men, to encourage, to give them, to boost their morale.
In here in Tumdo in Karen, as we started in the year 2006, we had our sons. So when we had our sons, we wanted to have a process that could preserve our culture and at the same time, our boys to have an identity and to know who they are. But we had challenges. The first challenge, first of all, is that we were afraid of the culture shock that our boys could experience when they'll go back to the village. And we also had a language barrier. Some of our boys who are born in Nairobi, they don't talk Kalenjin frequently. So we had that challenge as well. And also, we also didn't have the time. The time, you could actually go home and stay there for the whole month. Because some of us were in Nairobi, we also had business in Nairobi. So we started in a small way, the three of us, somebody called Henry Lele, me, and another guy from Mount Elgon.
Tumdo is not a religious thing. What our parents were doing when they were taking men to seclusion, they were taking them to school. So Tumdo is a school. It was a school. And to me, it was a school of wealth. This is where somebody was supposed to be prepared to look for his wealth, to look for his life, to cultivate his space and become a man.
So when these things changed, then we decided to see, despite the fact that this Tumdo was so significant, with these changes, how do we do so that we can actually come up with a Muren or a man who can meet the challenges of this particular day? So we decided to say this, let's just get away to embrace this particular rite of passage, but improve it. Improve it so that we can have a man who can meet the challenges of this time. It could be difficult to use a syllabus that was designed 2 centuries ago and bring up a man who can meet the challenges at this age when we are dealing with artificial intelligence.
Is a Kalenjin program, not a program for the particular sub-tribe of the Kalenjin. We have all Kalenjins from Mount Yelgon to Pokot to Marakwet to Keyo, Tugen, Nandi, Kipsigis, Nandi, Terik. So we have all the community, all the Kalenjin community involved. We are happy to know that, to say that this is something that has also brought all Kalenjins together.
We realized that it's not easy to improve a culture. It was tough for us. We had to consult spiritual leaders of the mainstream churches. We had to talk to Kalenjin professionals whenever they are, and we had also to talk to Kalenjin Council of Elders. And as we talked to them, and they were impressed with the program that we had introduced so that we could improve this particular tumdo or the rite of passage. The concept was the same. The only thing is we wanted to improve and remove the things that were not relevant, and then bring other things that it can actually bring up a man who can meet the challenges of this particular time.
I like this curriculum for this particular process that we've gone through here in Karen. Had a very good curriculum because it picks everything that was good in our culture from the beginning and removes that was not good, and then blends it together with education and religion. And so being a Christian, I was very comfortable to bring my child here because everything that is good about God and about my community has been preserved. That means our children get to know who are their roots, where they come from, what is it being a Kalenjin, what does it mean in terms of historical perspective, and what's the future of this community, because they are the ones who are custodians of the culture.
In the period of 4 weeks that the boys are there, our target is not only to circumcise the flesh, but to be able to circumcise the mind and the spiritual man in these boys. So we have to deal mostly with things like identity, to know who they are, to appreciate their culture, to empower in the new skills in life, so that they can be able to meet those particular challenges. To know about their good side of their culture. Culture is very important. The very important thing that can give identity a person is culture and religion. So if they can impress their culture, most of the things that the world is challenging today, the world is facing today, you will find that these boys will have that courage to say no to the things that are there because of their culture. We also try to mentor them to be confident and also to have courage, also to have discipline. That's the key thing. In these 4 weeks, we try to impart discipline to these young men and to be morally upright. You see, in Kalenjin, we have what we call taboos. Taboos is the key that we have to instill to these young men. Things like LB, those bad things, right? As Kalenjins, you're not even supposed to think about it. You're not even supposed to conceive that idea. It's a taboo to us. It's a sin to us to do it. So all these things are the ones that we need to empower these people. Even if they go to any other country, they know that they are Kalenjin men. They are our taboos. We don't have to bend and adapt other cultures of other people.
First and foremost, we have to look for the men who will take care of the boys, and we call them motirenik. And these are the men of a previous generation who are men of integrity, men who are honest. If they are married, they should be people who are stable in their homes. And we normally get approval from either the neighbors to say that that man will do the job. And when we have identified, then there is normally the person in charge of that manger. We call Boyobtum. And so Boyobtum invites the parents. And as soon as we know that the children are here and we know how many they are, then the wazazi of the children, they organize themselves. They have their own chair.
I was called specifically for this, initiative to be one of the facilitators. I was taking them in terms of etiquette, protocol, the whole meaning of being a gentleman in the modern ways. We used to be told that, for you to be a gentleman, you need to kill an animal, you need to do this, murenik, which, you murenge, things which they can harm the society. But in the context that we are in now, we encourage these people. We remain warriors, but in the corporate field, we remain warriors for the society against protecting the environment, protecting the society. But most of all, what the society is lacking at the moment is values. Values is the big mess, and we want to start with that stage where they are entering into teenage. They have to really be inculcated into learning values, getting what really drives them, building the character. Because what we were reminding them is that it doesn't matter how many degrees that you acquire in future, it doesn't matter the position. If you have not driven by values, then you will lose everything. Character is everything, and that is what we are really trying to inculcate in these young men.
Arab Bartena, Chamgay, Chamgay.
Ibu dengar ngomong Arab laga Chamgay, Chamgay, Chamgay.
The young man is given the Arab. The Arab that is where they get now that name. So, and it's a process that has to be done at the same time. And also, the fathers also bless their boys, their young men. And also pass some form of authority by giving them the walking stick. Now, the walking stick is a sign of transfer of power, that now this young man is now responsible. If in case, like, if something was to happen to the father, this young man, he can take over. He's now responsible. He is able to make decisions, and he can assist the mother in running the home.
And when they come out, they have that comradeship and support. They have what we call bagule. Bagule is a deep state of a kind, right? Within themselves, that they can regulate themselves, they can correct themselves, and they can motivate themselves to build up. And finally, we give them a name, Arab. Arab, because we don't give Arab somebody who has not been circumcised.
We had a privilege, an opportunity to be able to come together as parents, to be able to have this process take up here in Nairobi, because you find most of the sub-tribes, they have, though it is more or less the same, but there are differences in the way their tradition are. But now it has been merged together to be able now to make up one nation, Kalenjin nation. And the men, the Bagule now, here will be able now to take up now the age set, which here we had different age sets, but it means the same, how they originated. But at the end of it all, after this process of the age set, we have learned that it will be standardized so that it can come to be one for the whole the Kalenjins. The Kalenjins believe that you should never let another bakule, another man of your generation or your age set, to suffer if they were to go through a problem. And so my son now will potentially have a group of young men that they can navigate life together.
So what we do is we usually bring professionals from every sector. If it is the issue of the social media issues, the cyberbullying and such, we bring somebody who is trained on that particular line, who knows what cyberbullying is all about, to address those particular issues. When it's dealing about the issues of the health issues, we bring professionals, doctors from different parts to come and address those particular issues. That is the challenges, the health challenges that we are facing today. On legal issues, we also bring lawyers who are prominent lawyers in the country, to come and talk to the young boys, to enlighten them about the legal issues. Because if you don't empower them, they can actually find themselves in trouble.
Our tradition, our customs, our culture had a bearing to God. And when I see what I have seen here, it is the final culmination of what is good out of our culture, combined with what is good for our country. That we can build young men, we can build a society, a strong society, backed with a strong culture, a culture of respect, a culture that respects other people, that upholds Kenya as a society and upholds the respect for our environment.
And we are playing as a generation our part to pass the baton to the next generation, so that then our kids, as they grow up and they are now become men, as they get married and take their children through this same process, then through it culture can be preserved. The other thing which is a struggle for us is that our children cannot speak our mother tongue or our mothers as mother's tongue, or particularly our community language. So if we continue like this with modernization across the country, you can be sure that the community will lose its language, and so therefore it will be extinct. So the one way of preserving it is also this curriculum was introducing them to the basics of their language, but we've agreed that we want to support each other to establish a school of language that will make sure that people will learn Kalenjin, not just our children, but also other people from other communities who are interested in learning Kalenjin language can find a place to do so.
There is some gap in an African child that needs to be filled. But like for a Chinese child, I don't know, because the parents running a very big company, when they pass on, they leave it to their son, to their daughter, and the company will not collapse. But for an African business, you leave it to your children, the probability of it collapsing is more than 50%. So it's more than 0.5, probability is more than 0.5. While for the Indian, for the Chinese, for the European, the probability of it collapsing is very low. So there is a gap for an African child. And that's why you need such programs where now you build that discipline, you build the resilience, you build the patience, you build the focus, so that he gets to know that there's nothing that comes for free and you don't have to waste what you already have. So I think this program is very important because of that gap that has been seen in an African child.
So today we're very happy. All these men who have graduated, they have graduated knowing that they are men from the Kalenjin community, and all the values have been ingrained, they have been hammered, if I may put it that way. They have gone through a proper training.
We have started now centers, like we have a center in Nakuru, and we are asking elders, we are asking people from villages, we are asking pastors and all the community leaders, because we already have a curriculum. So we are asking them if they can come together, and we come and train them a bit, because all of us, we have a module of transiting this man into becoming a man. So what we only need is that we just teach them on what they are supposed to teach the boys now.
And they were asking how we can actually take this tumdo back to the rural areas. And I think that's our vision, to see that if God can give us a way, we can be able to reach them, so that we can actually come up with Kalenjin men who are relevant, who can fight the challenges of this dispensation.
Ayegi